Hello, 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 hello. All right, y'all. We're like halfway through the day. How y'all feeling? I want to see it in the chat. How are y'all feeling? Someone already gave me a heart. I don't know. Y'all want to take a stretch? Y'all want to move your head to the left and to the right? Y'all want to do one of these? You don't want to do one of these? Okay. Y'all doing good? Y'all feeling good? Courtney's feeling good. Who else is feeling good? Brad's feeling good. Who else we got feeling good? I want to see it in the chat. Where are you at? You see it in the chat. Where are you at? All right. Well, also, I want to give a quick little shout out to my good friend Kaz McGrath, who's about to come out on stage. Okay. But Kaz said, let's take a quick second and have a quick breath. And I was like, you know what? I think we could all do that. So wherever you are, take a moment to just breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Okay. I love that. Jorge, you made me laugh with that gift. I love that because that's how I was feeling before. Okay. All right, people. Well, I am so excited for our next session coming up. We have an incredibly stacked team. Okay. We have our speaker and host, Kaz McGrath from PLAI. We have Selma Bichbich. We have Ryan Ginard, and we have Michael Tjalve. Kaz McGrath is the founder and CEO. Kaz, I don't know if you were with me in the last session, but I was singing Play, okay, from Jennifer Lopez. Play, come on, teacher, play that song. I just feel that every time I see the word play, okay? Kaz is the founder and CEO of Play and a Stanford HAI alum, where she has trained 8,000 nonprofits in AI, y'all. 8,000. I don't know about you, but I want to be 8,000 and number one, okay? 8,000 nonprofits in AI with a 4.9 out of 5. You know, I'm just going to bump that up. It's 5 out of 5, okay? Twice named one of Australia's top 100 women of influence. She co-founded the Global Ration Challenge, raising 80 million with an M dollars to fight hunger, and created Digital Village, a top-rated leadership program. A sought-after speaker at global summits, Kaz is on a mission to make AI simple, joyful, and transformative for those who need it most. Y'all, can y'all please help me welcome to the stage Kaz McGrath and this amazingly incredible team for AI and the environment, what nonprofits need to know. Take it away, Kaz.
Oh, Floyd, what a joy it is to listen to you pump everyone up. And it is a privilege of mine to be able to have these three incredibly insightful and wise people on this topic. I'm going to take quite a back seat and just do facilitation amongst the incredible ideas, perspectives, and research that they all have. But before we begin, I also want to remind everyone about the heaviness of this topic. We've run, as Floyd said, a lot of sessions around the world, and sometimes the chat can get pretty heavy and pretty spicy. So I want to remind everyone, let's hold all of those perspectives today. Let's get curious and let's explore all of the different things. So AI in the environment, it's a huge topic that we need to be aware of for nonprofits and fundraisers. And there's all kinds of research out there that shows both the impact on the environment, taking away of Indigenous land rights, data centers, water usage, energy usage. But how do we make these big decisions? And how do we make sure that we're building those decisions off insight and real data and the experience of people who know about this stuff way more than I could, and way more than maybe some of you? There might be some in the chat that are also really experienced in this. So I want to start with one simple question for each of the panelists. What do you think is the most important thing for people to know deeply right now when it comes to AI and the environment? And Michael, I'm going to start with you.
Hey there, thanks, Kaz. Good question. So, first of all, I feel it's really important that we have this discussion as a lot of people are very excited about the use of modern AI, generative AI. We have really seen a reduction in the barrier to use of adoption with the introduction of large language models. But as you allude to, there is the flip side as well. These very, very large models have a very, very direct impact on the environment. So I think it is critical that people are aware of the impact, both how much impact there is and what role they have, what kind of agency they have in controlling and reducing that impact. So I think events like the discussion we're having today are important to make that happen.
Definitely. It's all kind of paradoxes for us to hold. Ryan,
Yeah.
how about yourself?
Yeah, like firstly I want a conversation, and also like to acknowledge quickly just I join you from today. That's the tour in Australia. It's 5 a.m. here, so colourful. That's because I haven't had enough caffeine. The 16th over here, so I'm in the future, which is very apt. I really think about AI here as a fundraiser. Comes to mind for me is like stewardship, not just the planet itself, like technology. I think we need to isn't neutral. Every AI tool we adopt, and if not for profits and all that, then we risk unintentionally undermining the very core. I'd like to kind of share, I guess, my first stat, because what's striking to me is how much this question more broadly. Recent Axios, 7% of Americans want us to slow down AI responsibly, even if that delays breakthroughs. So that support for caution and non-rolling bridging values in technology.
Definitely. And Ryan, your order is a bit choppy, but I agree, and I've seen that research where so many people are saying we need to slow down, we need to think and be more intentional in this. And there's obviously different principles at play. There's different desires for where we want to have this go. So Selma, I might turn to you now. What do you think is that one important thing that people in this room need to know or hold in their heart as we have this discussion?
First of all, thank you so much for having me in here. It's always a pleasure to be in this summit. I would say the very number one thing would be we have all to acknowledge that AI models themselves consume a large amount of energy. I mean, I'm taking it from my activism perspective. As civil society, we always see this kind of tension between tech-driven solutions and sustainability, this kind of little fight that is happening in between them. However, I think it's high time for us to start also raising awareness about the use of AI in an ethical way, and at the same time, we can promote it in a way where people can start using it at this one tool that can help us to bring up new solutions, and at the same time not play the role of the enemy, but embrace it more as this one tool that can help us to take further actions that help us to let's say improve this digital world that we created as a generation. So yes, from an activist perspective, I would say it's high time for us as civil society to start pushing for it. Of course, the let's say not the negative side of it. However, we need to focus more on the positive side of the AI use that did help us a lot as civil society entities. So I look forward to really talk more about this topic further and see how we can explore it all together from different perspectives, since we are coming from different entities.
Definitely. So we might dive right in terms of some of those deeper issues to frame the conversation. So in terms of AI's environmental footprint, Michael, from a research and data perspective, what parts of that concern you the most? And if you can share some of the areas that would be helpful for us to understand the numbers underneath this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so first of all, I think it is important to acknowledge that people come into this discussion from many different vantage points. Selma made the point, and I think each individual's concern impact us very differently. So thank you for the question. I think from my point of view, the biggest concern right now is the water use required to train and to run AI models. Obviously, particularly the larger models, the large language models, which are historically significantly larger than what we've seen before. So a model like ChatGPT or others like it, generative AI models, they require a lot of energy to power the data centers where they run. These data centers, they heat up, and water has proven to be an effective source to cool them down. For each query, it's not a lot. There are various estimates. I've seen things like from 10 drops of water for a simple query to like half a liter of water for more complex queries. And of course, it depends a lot on where those estimates, who's producing those estimates. Each query is not a lot, but when you scale it up to millions of users and billions of daily interactions, it really adds up, and it becomes a problem we have to address. We've seen the tech sector having had made very bold statements and commitments, and have been on track to reach those commitments towards the SDGs and water consumption and energy use. And I think those were looking good for a while, but then the interest and the commercial need and the excitement around LLMs came along and sort of messed up with some of those metrics, those commitments. I think there are many creative ways that are happening today that the impact is reduced. Some of the earlier models we saw they were large but not very efficient. We are now seeing smaller models that are even more efficient. So there's a lot of work happening in this space, and there's a lot more needed.
Awesome. And for those of you in the room who are maybe new to understand all the language around models and tokens and all of this kind of thing, I think one of the important things to know around that is we're making them more efficient. We're able to now see results 2 years later that are significantly different. But I would love to hear, Selma, I love your work and your work in activism and with youth. I've followed it for a while now. What are you hearing from youth voices? And what are you hearing on the front lines of some of those campaigning and advocacy projects and people working on the front lines of environmental conservation?
Mm-hmm. Well, I will not really lie to you about this point, because I remember getting so many emails where I had to sign certain petitions for us to raise this voice and ban the use of AI. I got to this point where really youth were somehow hating the idea of AI and hating the idea of so much energy consumption. And at the same time, we see that the global south is most of the times the one suffering and somehow paying this cost, as we see it at all levels. However, at some point, we also realized that AI can be that one tool that should just not replace the lived knowledge. However, it can play this role of that one tool that can amplify community wisdom. So many civil society entities and NGOs and grassroots initiatives, I think they can really play a huge role in raising awareness, and some of them are doing it. I was a manager of one of the programs that is called Youth-Led AI for Climate Resilience and Civic Engagement, and we ended up really coming up with great outcomes from this program. We have seen how youth pitched great projects where AI was integrated in their projects, and they ended up really having brilliant ideas that later on were implemented, that literally they are considered as climate solutions. We're talking about AI tools. We're talking about AI tools that detect wildfires, and we're talking about AI tools that can help people with hearing disability to learn more about climate. We're talking about literally also AI tools that help in tracking carbon footprint. So I think at some point we realized that we can embrace this tool in a way that can help us in our journey as civil society leaders and as activists. So yes, I would not lie and say that people are all accepting it, but there are some mixed feelings, and people started realizing that we can somehow work on it in a way that can make us maybe improve more as communities, especially the ones who are pretty active in this in figuring out new projects and trying to also come up with new projects in this digital world. So I guess it has been always quite good to include people who are interested in innovation to also explore ideas, environmental ideas with the use of AI, which is something I think people didn't really expect that much. I would say another thing that I can stress on, so are the other activists and youth, would be the need to create solutions with local communities being involved, so that I somehow will not just have to will not just be that one tool that can incorporate interests of people, but really serve people and address their dignity and human rights. And I think we have seen that aspect in so many of our work. I mean, whatever we try to do policy analysis, we do see somehow AI always being that one included tool to help us in moving forward with our work, whether in making recommendations, demands, well structuring them. I myself had the chance to use AI, and I'm not only talking about ChatGPT, a lot in my studies and also while doing my civil society work. I think it's that one tool that it's high time for civil society to help more in promoting it in an ethical way that can serve youth and also create more jobs for them, more opportunities, and most importantly, finally be on the equal side of this whole scenario.
I love that, and I love the way that you weaved in all those different pieces. It seems like a very, very wicked design challenge. There are people around the world doing this really well, designing it with agency alongside community and human-centered design. And then there's others seeing it just as one holistic tool, all the same thing. So I wonder, that design challenge, surely our brilliant youth around the world are the ones, if anyone, to be able to solve that. I was wondering, Ryan, I've loved always having discussions with you at conferences and know that you have some great, passionate opinions. I was wondering, where do you think people go wrong right now in conversations you're hearing across the fundraising sector, across social impact with leaders? Where do you think people are having either misassumptions or bias or saying things that might lead us down the wrong path when it comes to this?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, right? Because we have to, in our roles as kind of champions and leaders of these movements, is to demystify a lot of the work and encourage a lot of curiosity around the implications. And I think that just at conferences and the conversations that you mentioned, it's a good chance to explore those in a safe setting. I think that a lot of the things we need to do around AI is to not call folks out, is to call them into an inclusive environment where they can learn, explore, and understand. I think that, again, with everyone starting to use a lot of chat bots, stuff to generate content, stuff to automate the work so that they can reclaim time to be on those front lines of change, like energy is being consumed. I really loved what Michael shared around the real hard data, and it's understanding that, because you know why this is important? It's because it's directly tied to our mission. As mission-driven organizations, if we care about climate, equity, or health, it's all intersectional, and we need to understand and manage a lot of the hidden costs around it. So it's a great opportunity to talk about it around overheads. It links to a lot of the challenges we have in our time as we grow as organizations and we have impact. So I think it really is just understanding practical approaches, including choosing task-specific models over massive multi-purpose ones, tracking a lot of the use so we can educate ourselves, and talk about, I guess, the footprint of the tools we use. Just transparency helps us all get better.
Definitely. And a question to any of you, that is common, what you just shared, Ryan, that people are saying, how do we do this well? How do we make good decisions around, do we track it? Do we not use certain tools? What are the practical steps we can take? Does anyone have any advice on that, on navigating that at the moment during this uncertain time?
I can kick us off. I'm sure everybody will have something here. So actually, to your point, I think just having for organization, having an AI policy in place for accepted use of AI is a fantastic start. If you do just one thing, that will be the one thing I'd do. Have a policy that's developed for everyone across the organization, and make sure that everybody knows of its existence and how to use it. If there's stuff in that AI policy that if you want to use a tool that's not, let's say, part of the accepted list of tools, then establish a process for getting that added. But I think even as individuals, you have agency. There are ways you can, and you talked about design as well. There are ways you can make sure that even within the same constraint of the objectives you have of what you want to deliver, you can be more effective. So, for example, you can use less, use where it really provides value to you as an individual employee or to the organization. So maybe don't use it to generate jokes, but be aware of the impact, and also be okay with just acknowledging sometimes AI is not the right tool for a certain project. I also like Ryan alluded to the task appropriateness, or sort of the fit for purpose models. So the foundation models, the large language models, are capable of so many different things. They've been trained on the world's digital knowledge and are capable of a wide range of things. If your experience, or even just a interaction component of your experience, just needs you to provide office hours, then you don't need an LLM for that. So understand what the model can do, and whether you need the full capability of a large model, or a smaller or more narrow, more task-specific model could work. Also, there's some fantastic work happening over the past couple of years around SLMs, small language models, that can provide most of the value, most of the capabilities that you find from a large language model, but they're significantly smaller. The environmental footprint is significantly smaller, and many of those can live on devices, so you don't even need a full data center to run them.
I think, Michael, it's great. You've answered one of the questions that came up around acknowledging the use of unnecessary AI. Selma, you want to jump in?
Yeah, this is actually a lovely question, because I was just thinking now about, for example, YAFM, the Union for Mediterranean, they have created this one project, and they open it for youth in the Mediterranean, and they were requesting us to start coming up with more projects this time, not just innovative ones, but the ones that includes AI in their planning. So this was actually a very good step somehow to introduce the youth from the Mediterranean. Because I feel like now what is needed is more of capacity building to youth, because maybe some will say that we are not that educated about it, or we still need this kind of basic knowledge that still needs to be provided to them, in which they will finally know what is the ethical side of AI, because some people are still just considering it as a tool that is ruining our planet. However, no, we still can use it to benefit our planet, actually. So I think this would be the very one thing that we have to focus on, especially for communities where somehow this kind of knowledge, it's hard to reach at some point, usually when we talk about this kind of technical knowledge, usually what you find in global north countries, maybe you will not find it in global south countries, and vice versa. So another thing would be partnerships. I think it's high time also to push for the collaboration approach with universities and tech partners, who can somehow provide this kind of technical support and knowledge. And I think it can start from there if we want to talk about capacity building, and always focus on the equity lens in between. I think this would be a good start for our generation to start embracing these tools more.
I absolutely love that. And I have to go back, there's so much underneath that somewhere, and I want to jump into it in a second, but I can't ignore there is one question in the chat that keeps getting upvoted, which is the question, which tools are most environmentally friendly, and how might we find out information about screening those kind of tools for environmental impact or usage? Who would like to dive into that one? And whilst you do, I can share some research in the chat for those of you who are interested.
I can get us started. So I'd say there are two sides to that. If you're talking about a cloud-based AI service, the most environmentally friendly is often the one that is very detailed about how it's reporting its carbon footprint. So
Yeah.
look at what is being reported externally, publicly, and keep those claims honest. You have ways of testing whether those are actually true. But even more environmentally friendly, of course, is something that doesn't require cloud compute. So something like a small language model, then you can run locally on your device. It has a significantly smaller footprint.
I'm happy to.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to add some stuff. Again, it's for me, it's not just the tools; it's the adoption and the intentionality around what tools you get. Like, we should be asking vendors the right questions. We should be asking, how is your AI powered? Are you using renewable energy? Like, how do you handle things like e-waste? Like, even small nonprofits can have that collective voice there to make a meaningful difference more broadly. Like, again, beating that drum of what ethical AI looks like, what sustainable AI looks like. I mean, you know, we know the stats. It's like every chat GPT inquiry is like almost 10 times more electricity in the Google search. So again, embedding responsibility into everyday practices, not achieving perfection overnight. Like, this is a beast we are starting to grapple with and understand a bit more. But, you know, taking the small deliberate steps, we can benefit from these tools without compromising our mission and impact. And for me, that's the thing that always underpins it all.
Definitely. And there's some interesting different questions for us to ask. We were working with an environmental organization who were talking about exactly this, but had recently just flown their entire team to 5 different summits around the world. So it really is, how can we take this systems lens to thinking about this, and about going, what can we do to have it benefit our causes and our missions, and then balance that. It really is that paradox. So on that note, I would love to ask you all, what are the ways that you have seen AI being used to drive results, to drive impact, to work for conservation, sustainability, for the climate crisis? As you said, for bushfires, it's so close to my heart coming from Australia. What are some of those other ways where we really see it having an impact?
We're all being very kind with
You're all being
the
very
chairs.
lovely.
Yeah, for me, like we can use a lot of modeling to see what happens when we divest away from harmful investments. That's one. We're exploring how to identify not-for-profits that are getting funded by fossil fuel companies, and how much, and then working with them to do a bit more ethical fundraising and wean themselves off it. So again, it's a lot of it is identification, and there's a lot of data sets out there, and if we're able to see them in new ways by utilizing these new tools that we have, it could change everything very quickly. Sometimes all you need is a tweak, and then the sector shifts almost overnight.
Selma, it looks like you had something that was about to. Did you want to share?
Yeah. Thank you. I was going to say that I mean, last time when we hosted the program, I remember like there was this one recommendation that is still now stuck in my head, and I was like, they said that I think it's high time for AI to be integrated in digital governance. This will make our world more transparent, and it will also create this accountability vibes that I think our youth that wants to be involved in, and it will be also easy for you to be involved in decision and policy making, which has been always the one demand that is being repetitive in every international gathering we have. So I think it would be great from now on, I guess, to start considering AI use in this kind of big, I know, like in this kind of big spaces where decisions are being made. I know maybe at some point this would be not logical, but it has been recommended by youth. And I do believe that since we already started the e-voting, the e-elections, I think this somehow AI tools that can be used in digital governance can still be considered an option. Because if we did consider something like that, I guess there will be more restrictions and policies being set by the government itself to not really have this tool used in an unethical way. So I do see that there is like AI, somehow it has a lot of potential to explore this kind of and use justice that can be put on ground and somehow test the outcomes.
Definitely, it's interesting when you bring up the concept of government policy, because I know for everyone in the room, there is huge contrast between how governments and bodies that operate with them are in exploring this and how they are making decisions or not making decisions in that space. I'm curious, this is quite a technical question, but when we think about the ways that AI is getting better or is having an impact in these different situations, whether that be through predictive analytics or modeling or empowering different organizations, a lot of the companies are coming up with big claims. So someone asked, Google has driven a 33 times reduction in energy consumption and a 44 times reduction in carbon footprint for the median Gemini apps over 1 year. Is that true? And can we do that? If it is true, can we do that with AI? So that was from Mark Sitter. I'm not sure who would like to answer that nice and juicy one. Otherwise, Michael, I'm going to go with you.
Okay. I cannot claim whether it is true or not. I have not seen the data. I don't have access to that. As far as I can tell, it's a commercial claim. There's probably at least largely true, but also a relative improvement just means that you got better. So even if you got better for a pretty bad situation, it can still be a bad situation. So, but I do think it's important to keep in mind that as part of, if you build in an AI-enabled solution and implementation for your nonprofit, the information you'll be asking for your vendors are things like that and about the models. And when you get that information back as part of your process should be to build a technology insurance so that you can validate those claims. And so when you reach out to your vendor, you're part of procurement, there are a number of questions you should be asking about the models, including, of course, what you particularly care about in the context of environmental impact. And then when you have your solution, make sure that you validate that. And with others who have been through a similar situation, so that whatever you validate is something that you can share with your partnering organizations.
And what would your advice be, Michael? There's a lot in this space there's a lot of unknown unknowns. Yes. And if people don't have experience in this field, sometimes it's, what do we even ask? Like, what do we check in? What would be your advice on approaching that and some of the most important questions to explore in a way that even us beginners can understand?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and it's a understandably a common question, popular question. A small plug. It's exactly what we're focusing on. Yeah, I'm part of a small team that's building out the Safe AI project, which is a UK Foreign Office funded project to build a framework for the safe and responsible use of AI. This particular focused on humanitarian action, but is applicable to most nonprofit use cases. And so working through sort of an entire implementation journey, helping you understand exactly what you need at that point in time. And yes, very often it comes to, at the beginning, understanding which questions to ask, understanding what the technology can do, what's real, how AI makes decisions, how it makes mistakes, understanding both its potential and its limitations, so that you can proactively implement mitigation strategies to avoid risks that will inevitably happen.
Definitely. And it's a lot to think about, all of these processes amongst all the change and the acceleration we're going through. And I just want to remind everyone that is in this room right now that is a design challenge to be stepped into. So how can we use this as an opportunity to collaborate, to learn from others, to not all duplicate the same work and all be trying to develop policies or approaches? How might we have those conversations just like this, but with each other at a local level, at a regional level. From a fundraising sector perspective, Ryan, I was wondering if you've seen any examples of people stepping up in this way and doing effective approaches to making decisions about AI and the environment, or from a leadership lens.
Yeah, I can definitely talk from an Australian viewpoint. The Australian Environmental Grant Makers Network is a great organisation that's been kind of rallying the troops ahead of a potential COP31 in Adelaide. And a lot of leading foundations like the Minaroo Foundation are kind of on the national stage, and UNGA, I believe, is the next one off the rank where these conversations will be happening en masse. And I know that they're looking at AI as one of those existential crises, so doing a lot of research there. In terms of fundraising, the conversations are having, I'm seeing them now at every conference, and it's not just on the tools, it's not about the big picture stuff, it really is about the ethics and what does it look like. And we're in a moment right now in society where we've actually started understanding that a lot of laws and regulations, ordinances have been put to divide people and push people back, and started undoing those. And then kind of this two-speed thing has been happening where a lot of people have been coding and baking in a lot of those unconscious biases, and it's kind of getting away from us, as it were. So yeah, the conversations are happening, but funders do need to step up as well and start funding the research, proactively engaging with the organisations that are leading the conversations to see what can we do to support. And yeah, I think academia is obviously one of those key components to give some of the rigour around it. But at the end of the day, the amazing thing about our sector is that everyone's mission driven, and everyone will link arms to right a lot of the wrongs before they occur. And we're actually at a chance where we can see what that looks like ahead of time, and not deal with it 20, 30 years down the track and go, oh damn, we missed the chance to really buttress a lot of the harm back in the 2020s.
Definitely. I think that conversation around harm introduces a deep reflection about equity. Selma, I was wondering if you could expand a little bit more about that from your perspective and the communities you work alongside.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, just recently we hosted the local conference of youth, which is usually like a national conference that takes place in only once, like in every single country. And the outcome of this conference is to come up with a youth statement that next, like in the coming days, would be sent to be added in the global youth statement that usually we present it during COP. And one of the aspects that we have insisted on in the statement was to talk a little bit more about AI, because we want to somehow have this kind of conversation or dialogue with our governments to see how can we maybe push more for somehow AI investment and try to hear more from youth ideas on this side. Because now what we're noticing is that, yes, for example, coming from Algeria, or let's just talk in general in North Africa, we do see so many youth who are interested in innovation, startups, incubators, this kind of competitions, pitching their ideas. But now they really started having so much interest in AI, but we don't see our governments providing much on this side and somehow neglecting their interests. And this is actually by chance is happening in so many global south countries, and if I can be more specific, in the MENA region. So I think it's quite important if we don't see these governments somehow trying to collaborate and cooperate with this somehow with tech companies or youth who are trying to explore new ideas, new climate solutions, literally solutions that can really solve so many problems in our local communities. So we wanted literally to dedicate a section in our statements where we talked about AI. I'm not sure if this will be eventually added in the global youth statements, but we did push for it as local youth. We did see that this is actually it was holding so much value to so many youth, and we had to speak what youth were saying. And I think my one message that I can send from here would be, I guess we can, if global South countries started somehow pushing for the ethical use of AI and somehow investing in it, I think we will be winning and not really somehow taking the negative coast later. If we started it like this pushing from now, and not the other countries, because we do have the resources, we do have it all. So it would be us somehow to control, and it would be our decision to stop it if we ever wanted one day. So I think from this platform, I would say I really hope that our governments will consider this recommendation and take these demands further with implementation, of course.
I think if young people can vote in a new government in Nepal via Discord, then surely they can do those other things you're mentioning as well.
Yeah,
Michael, I know that you had something to share, and then we're nearly close to time.
Just to build on what Selma said, I think the equity factor is so important, as especially around modern generative AI, large language model. As we get sort of very excited about the capabilities with generative AI today, it's important to keep in mind that it works in English and a small number of other languages, which means that the large majority of the world population sees no benefit to this. And so the focus of what we do at the work at the RootsAI Foundation is exactly to bring the value of modern AI to languages and to communities that don't have easy access to it today. And so it's really focused on empowering locally. Some also made the point about community vision, community wisdom, and co-creating and empowering locally. I think that's going to be needed to get the best out of what we have here with AI.
Absolutely vital. I'll never forget the moment overseas when a person who worked for an NGO in Thailand said that they used AI for translation and finally could show their team that they were intelligent, because until that point, language had restricted them. So it's a really powerful thing. Now we have 2 minutes to go. I would love to ask each of you, deep and brief, what is that message that you would like to leave with everyone before we wrap up? Ryan, we'll start with you.
Yeah, look, I think that we can show thoughtful, transparent adoption of AI as long as we pair it with the courage to say no to unsustainable options. I mean, that's a superpower. We have the ability to say no to what's coming down the pike. So, we can protect the planet while advancing our missions, fundraising, advocacy and operations all intersect here. So by being intentional, and I'll keep on saying by being intentional, we can influence vendors, educate donors, set new standards for responsible AI. That's how we turn tech into a force for good without compromising our values.
Michael?
I'll say, yes, you can use AI. It is such a powerful tool. There's so much good that can come from it, but you do need to be aware of the impact of your use, your AI use, and your organization's AI use. So I'd say familiarize yourself with what the technology is, how it works, and the impact that you have control over.
Thanks for that, Selma.
Can you say that again?
Is there a message that you would love to leave with the group before we have to wrap up, unfortunately? Because we could talk about this for days, couldn't we? Maybe we have lost Selma just for a second. We'll come back to you if you unmute, Selma, but I want to leave you all with the edges of paradox, with all of the different things that we have to hold at the moment at the same time. Selma, if you are there, feel free to jump in. I see you've unmuted. Go for it. Please share before we go back to Floyd.
I was leaving my message. I can't believe I got caught. Sorry.
You're right.
I would say take advantage of the workshops, programs that you're having that teaches you more about AI. I mean, I am a political science student. I will not say that I'm really good at this, but I'm trying to explore somehow the environmental side of it. Since I am an activist, I would say try to really raise awareness more about it. And I think make the best of it, show the good side of it. Don't consider it as an enemy, but as a friend to serve our planet, your community. And I really wish you the best. I mean, I mean, we got this. We are the leaders of tomorrow, and we have to make the best of it.
I have nothing else to say. We'll close out on that. Floyd, if you are in the room, I'll invite you back. What wonderful edges to explore. And thank you so much for all of you. It was really a pleasure to ask questions. And I'm sorry to everyone in the chat. There was so many good questions we didn't get to ask.
That was so good. Also, Selma, what a word to leave us on. We are the leaders of tomorrow. We're the leaders of today. Okay? We are the leaders of right now. Y'all give it up for that amazing, amazing panel. Kaz, thank you so much for your leadership with everything. Thank you, Selma. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Ryan. Y'all, how amazing. I don't know about y'all, but I can't get enough, okay? There is so much amazing content today, okay? The content is contenting. The content is contenting, okay? What did y'all think about this session? Your feedback is so important to us, so let us know, okay? Let's keep this party going, all right? Thank you to our incredible sponsors, y'all. These sponsors are really giving, okay? We are so grateful for all that you all have been able to do. Thank you for making this entire community free for us to take advantage of. We are so incredibly grateful. Y'all, I want to do a quick highlight to our presenting sponsors, Giving Tuesday and Virtuous, for making the FAI Summit possible. Giving Tuesday is the global movement inspiring generosity every day, everywhere. Y'all remember the Backstreet Boys? Yo, why do I do this? Why do I make everything about a song? Everybody, yeah. That's what Giving Tuesday is doing. They're making it possible. Everybody, yeah. Okay, let me stop. Thank you, Giving Tuesday. And Virtuous. Virtuous is the responsive fundraising platform helping nonprofits build a meaningful supporter connection and grow impact with confidence. Their partnership ensures that this event and all this learning is free. We're so grateful for their investment in helping you amplify your impact. Next, we want to highlight our power sponsor, Blackbot, okay? Blackbot unleashes the potential of the people and organizations who change the world. As the leading software provider exclusively dedicated to powering social impact, Blackbot expands what is possible across the nonprofit and education sectors. At companies committed to social responsibility and for individual change makers. Built specifically for fundraising, nonprofit financial management, digital giving, grant making, corporate social responsibility, and education management. Come on, somebody. They said we got commas over here, okay? Blackbot's essential software accelerates impact through unmatched expertise and powerful data intelligence. Millions of people across more than 100 countries connect, give, learn, and engage through Blackbot platforms. Request a demo to see how Blackbot can do more for your mission. Come on, y'all. Who else we got? Come on, let's keep it going. Bloomerang.
If you had the answers to today's key questions right at your fingertips, questions about what happened, about what should happen, about what could happen, Blackbot AI is more than hype. It gives you useful tools developed by sector experts for you, packed with in-the-moment guidance and real insight to get your job done securely. With 4 decades of fundraising leadership, Blackbot AI is smart.
Come on, y'all. Blackbot AI is smart. Okay, I love that. Prepare for the future of fundraising with their free report. Oh, let me go back so y'all can see the Blackbot power. Okay. Prepare for their free report, The Status of Fundraising in the AI Era, which includes insights from 550 plus nonprofit and education professionals on performance, growth drivers, and attitudes towards AI. Y'all got that Blackbot Amplify kit? Let me see. Y'all put that? Okay, come on now. Y'all download. I don't want to hear nothing from these sponsors talking about we didn't share, okay? We shared. And make sure you go check them out in the booth, okay? We want to see our friends in the booth. All right, next. Bloomerang. Also, I love this logo. Come on now, get into it. Bloomerang is the giving platform built for purpose, trusted by more than 24 1,000 nonprofits. That's a lot of nonprofits, y'all. To raise more funds, retain more supporters, and create lasting change. By unifying fundraising, CRM, and volunteer management in one easy-to-use platform, Bloomerang gives organizations a complete view of every supporter and the tools to build stronger relationships. Backed by expert support and a team passionate about nonprofit success, Bloomerang is more than software. It's a growth partner for missions that matter. Get your free demo from Bloomerang. Okay, did we get that, Bloomerang? Oh, and check out more in this quick video.
Change. It doesn't happen on its own. It happens on purpose. Thanks to nonprofits that believe a brighter future is not just possible, but needed and deserved. And that connect people to causes and turn moments of generosity into movements. That's why Bloomerang is built for purpose. To raise the bar on what's possible and help every act of giving lead to more. Because when the bottom line is a better world, no goal is too lofty. Bloomerang, built for purpose.
Built for purpose. Can somebody tell me where they find these amazing voice actors? Is that AI? I don't know, but I loved it. Okay, come on, Bloomerang. I'll get into the visuals. All right. Y'all get the free guide on how to get started with AI, which explores the history and applications of AI tailored for nonprofits. Also, Summit Plus. What's my ongoing thing, right? Not Summit Minus. Oh my God. Amy said, I'm a voice actor. Amy, we're gonna have to find you because that's amazing. We love that. All right, y'all. Summit Plus, the biggest question that we hear, what do I do on Wednesday? Okay, after I hear this amazing content, this amazing knowledge, my boss is gonna say, what you learn? And you will say, well, I had a couple notes and I thought about, no, we ain't gonna do that. You're gonna just show them Summit Plus, okay? After Summit, join a 3-week AI immersion. You can join the leadership or capability immersion tracks, plus unlimited AI Spark sessions for a whole year. So you can tell your board, we learned a thing or two, and now it's your turn, okay? With support in the first Mission First AI community. Or if you're testing the water, invest in an AI Sparks annual pass just to get started. This is an over $5,000 value, y'all. $5,000 for only $655? Come on now. You have this all until September 17th, so make sure you unlock it, okay? Also, Amplify Engagement Challenge. Okay, let me go and see. I want to see who's in charge, who's leading the way, who's on the leaderboard, who is on the leaderboard, who we got? Jacqueline is not playing with y'all. Jacqueline said, y'all can come here and just watch if you want to, okay? But Jacqueline said, I'm going to get involved, okay? Jacqueline is taking the cake. Come on now. Jacqueline got over 11,000 points in this Amplify Engagement Challenge. Jacqueline, are you in the house? I don't know if you're in the house or not, but if you're in the house, you better do what you got to do, okay? Y'all, you can win free lunch, free coffee, books. Eric, you can learn, you guys can win so many amazing things. All you got to do is get involved, okay? Ask a couple questions, put something in the chat, give me a couple emoji interactions or something, right? And you'll find your way up on that leaderboard, okay? So if you want to get involved, don't just watch, jump in, participate, and make your mark in the Amplify Engagement Challenge. Oh, we got more. There's more in store. We got the Amplify Kit, okay? The Amplify. Listen, what did I say? One thing about this summit, you're going to leave amplified, okay? This might be you here, but after the summit, you're going to be here, okay? We're going to amplify. And the next one we're going to do is the Amplify Kit. This kit is packed with thousands of dollars in exclusive savings, templates, and free resources, all generously provided by our speakers and sponsors. Think of it as your go-to toolkit to help you turn what you learned into action, okay? You can access the Amplify Kit right now under the Resources tab, and don't worry, we'll also send it to your inbox so you can refer back anytime. Coming to the stage, okay? On the Amplify stage with yours truly, we have the Great AI Debate. Ooh, the Great Debate. Come on, somebody. I wonder if they use AI for anyhow. The Great AI Debate. Will generative AI be a force for good in the social impact? On the innovation stage, we have What Donors Really Think About AI and Why It Matters by my good friend Charian. I might just, maybe I'll bop on over, okay? And Nathan Chappelle. And we have the impact stage, Building AI Readiness from Data Hygiene to Team Culture. So make sure you don't miss it. Y'all know how to get there, okay? You gotta hit the schedule, top right of your corner, okay? Bookmark the sessions and join it live, okay? Join it live. Y'all, my name is Floyd Jones. I'm having the best time with y'all today. I hope you're having a good time as well. Connect with me online, stay involved, and y'all, I will see you on the Amplify stage in just a few short minutes. All right?